The reason I address you today in connection with the issue, I would say almost tragic issue of Amona, is because I believe there is still chance to save Amona. It depends on you, it depends on us in Israel, it depends on Jews the world over. How can we save Amona when there is so much talk about it's a final decision of the Supreme Court? So I want to tell you that there's a number of examples that I can give you which show that a government can cope with the Supreme Court. It is only now that for one reason or another there's a certain weakness with Netanyahu and with the government, and they seem to be under the authority of the Supreme Court and seem to forget that the ones who were elected in a democratic process is Netanyahu and the present government and the present Knesset. Why they are caught in this bewilderment? I think sometimes the general atmosphere of the people that is around the people who speak about law and the court and the formalities creates a somewhat freezing feeling that you cannot do what you want, you cannot carry out the official positive policy of the government. I think Netanyahu is caught into something formal that he doesn't want to be caught in, and that he himself, he definitely doesn't want to destroy Amona or the houses in Ofra or the houses in the Tiva Avot in the Etzion block. He definitely doesn't. But he needs you and us to encourage him to live and act as a prime minister by the basic values of the Likud party and the basic values on which this government, on the basis of which this government was elected. Now, I just want to give you a few examples how governments and prime ministers did overcome Supreme Court decisions. Even today, we heard from Barkat, the mayor of Jerusalem, that there are tens of thousands of houses built by Arabs in Jerusalem which were to be destroyed and were not destroyed. We know about the spread of Bedouins all over the northern part of the Negev, and they speak in the government even about making it, legalizing a whole huge area in which there is property listed by Jewish owners, and still they speak about an overall arrangement of the northern part of the Negev for the problem of they call it the Bedouin diaspora. I can give another example, a very sad one, but it shows how a government can overcome the decision of the Supreme Court. Releasing 1,200 terrorists in one night, finding a political reason to overcome 1,020 decisions of the Supreme Court, of different courts. There are ways to overcome even final decisions if it is the will and the policy of a government. Now, we are not speaking about a house here and a house there, which again, I'm very much against any sort of destruction. But when we speak about a whole issue, a whole settlement, is it altogether conceivable that a court, which was not elected, of course, will decide for the whole country, for the whole government, for the history, and of course for the people of Amona, that the home in which they live already 20 years, 40 families, 200 children will be expelled, the homes will be destroyed because of a decision of a Supreme Court. And we know that it is very much as a result of the pressure of the left, and it was carried out, the whole process was carried out by an appeal of a leftist lawyer who encouraged Arabs in the area to claim the land. The land does not belong to the Arabs, never belonged to the Arabs. There is a chapter in the history of the occupation of Jordan, of Judea and Samaria, in which the King Hussein of Jordan, who illegally occupied Judea and Samaria, and he distributed property to Arabs who were close to him in a sort of a benefit to friends and people who were near the king. But no Arab really cultivated that land. There's no real claim, even according to the Jordanian law, even to the Ottoman law, which is still preceded that law and is still active. In other words, the claim that the property in Amona and other places connected with the same issue, that the land belongs to the Arabs, has no real legal basis. So I return to my opening sentences, and I say it is Netanyahu and the government that is caught in a loop, in a maze that he has not intended to be caught in, and he wants to get out of it. So now I'm telling you that we are going to carry out a huge rally in Jerusalem coming Tuesday, and as we see the reaction of people from all over the country, many people who will come to Jerusalem will say to Netanyahu, we all stand with Amona. To you who live abroad, I suggest that you get on a plane and you create a delegation of Jews from abroad, and you come to Netanyahu and you say to him, we are Jews who live abroad, but we cannot accept the fact that a Jewish settlement is being destroyed. We came here to Israel, to the Prime Minister Netanyahu, to Prime Minister Netanyahu, to tell you, we ask you, we beseech, don't destroy this settlement, don't destroy ever any settlement as you promised the eve of the elections. We have not evacuated any settlement. We will never evacuate. I think that even Jews from abroad can have a great influence on Netanyahu and help us keep Amona and all the other settlements forever in their original location. Thank you very much.